Good morning from where I am, and good afternoon, good evening for wherever you are in the world. I'm looking forward to this topic today. This is all about how to get more done in less time, and we all want to do that. Have you ever felt like there's just not enough time in the day? I know I have felt that way many, many times. Like, wow, I really want to get everything done that I want to get done, but there's only 24 hours. And yes, good morning. I think good evening to you, Nikhil. So thanks for tuning on once again. We'll have a great productive session. Speaking of productivity today, feel free to, by the way, as people are jumping on here. And I'll repeat this several times, I think. Feel free to talk about some of your own challenges with productivity. Feel free to put them in the chat. What are you struggling with with respect to productivity on a daily basis? As I share some of my daily habits here, I'm just going to go through some of my daily habits, and hopefully this will also stimulate some thought for you. Welcome to the chat. Apparently it's evening where you are, so good evening to you. It is morning where I am, so I'm not just getting my day started, but I just came back from the gym not too long ago. That's why my hair is wet. So yes, but no, that's from the shower, not from sweating, right? So I do take a shower after I come back from the gym. I promise. So that would be nasty if I didn't. So anyway, just real quick in terms of who am I, for those who are not familiar with who I am, and why I'm a little bit qualified to talk about productivity, at least a little bit qualified to talk about this topic. Things that I've learned over time as an academic researcher, very busy there, direct sales, which is extraordinarily busy. That is on a daily basis doing tons of activity. From sales, follow-up, prospecting. It's just a lot. And also independent academic tutoring, of course, balancing that. And of course, actually when I was in the direct sales business doing, being the owner of a test prep agency at the same time, they actually overlapped at a certain point. So hiring, firing, when necessary, doing all the curriculum development, doing all the marketing, doing all the customer consultation, all of that stuff. Really, really busy stuff. And then, of course, I run a YouTube channel now, pretty much full time. I also do some one-on-one tutoring and coaching, but I also own a business, the Life Navigator system. So this is a lot of my experience with productivity. And the first thing I'll talk about, and you guys have probably heard about it a lot, but I'm going to go into, we'll go into different strategies for this as we talk about this. Once again, feel free to drop in the chat some of your struggles with productivity. What are you working on right now? What are you struggling with? And I'll definitely give you maybe some insights, and we can talk about that live, what you're struggling with and some ideas of how to overcome that challenge. But time blocking is simply, as you see here, putting blocks of time in your calendar, in our calendars. So I really, really recommend, if you're not already using Google Calendar or some sort of app, definitely, block some times out. One of the things I really love about time blocking is that stuff comes up in life. Actually, this is the number one thing I like about it. There are lots of benefits of time blocking, but I know when people hear about productivity, one of the first objections is, oh, well, that's, we don't live in an ideal world. And I actually made a video about this as well, about, we don't live in an ideal world. It seems very simplistic and wonderful to kind of just block out all of our time, right? And put everything in a nice, neat box. But guess what? People in the family get sick. Somebody, maybe something bad happens to you during the day. Maybe your mood changes during the day. There are so many things that could happen during the day that just can mess with our schedules. But one of the things that I really like about time blocking as a strategy is that if something does get messed up in our schedule, in our calendar, we can move the block. I actually often do this. So I just came back from a conference. That is my dog, by the way. If you saw the camera shaking, that is my dog. I will introduce you to my dog at some point. Maybe can I introduce you now? Hold on. Let's see. Will she say hi? Okay, yes, she can say hi. All right. So those of you who are on TikTok, you can't quite see her, but this is my dog. Anyway, this is not a dog show, but hey, she comes and says hi once in a while. But I love my dog. Anyway, so I stay productive because of her, right? Right, Athena. But anyway, so in terms of moving the blocks around. So I came back from a conference. Maybe it was a week ago, and things got shuffled in my schedule. Right, run the YouTube channel. I'm running another online business, right, and so things got messed around in my schedule, even my exercise schedule and everything like that. So what did I do? Well, I saw the blocks of time that I had for specific tasks, and I said, okay, maybe I could do that in 30 minutes instead of an hour. I'll move it to this day. I'll move it over here. So it causes less stress in my life when I'm able to do that. And I highly recommend doing that. And not not a paper calendar. I mean, I don't know who uses a paper calendar anymore, but no offense to you if you do not. Once again, if you're watching this, feel free to drop some of the challenges, productivity challenges you are facing in the chat, and we'll go over them together. We can actually work through them and come up with some potential solutions together. So feel free to drop those in the chat. So along with time blocking, there are several other strategies that we can use. And I want to, got a hair in my face. I hate when that happens. Don't you hate when that happens? Like you get a hair that drops down in your face. Okay. But actually, I think it is on my glasses here. All right. That is super annoying. Anyway, I think I got it. Anyway. So one of the objections as well is that you might, again, it's like, again, we don't live in an ideal world. Easier said than done. Oh yeah, you have the luxury of, so now I will say, yes, I do work fully from home. I fully remote. I can be in any country and work. Maybe if you're watching, I will come to your country sometime soon. So tell me the great things about your country or where you live in the US. If you're outside in New York City, I'm in New York City. Tell me, because I will want to travel there. But I love to travel, but I didn't. As I told you guys, I used to be working at one point 2 full-time jobs, right? And then having to take care of a lot of stuff. So I recommend, and those of you on TikTok, you cannot see this, but use this. This is called the Eisenhower matrix. And go ahead, and you can even Google this. This is very simple. You can Google Eisenhower matrix template and look at the Eisenhower matrix template and actually put the activities. This is a way of organizing the activities in our lives. And I've done this. I actually should do it again. I haven't done it recently, but I've done this multiple times. You have to figure out what are the urgent and important things coming up in your life. Let's say like a very important deadline that's something that's due tomorrow, right? Bad things will happen if it doesn't get done. Less urgent and important, right? So maybe meditation or exercise. That I would say that is important, but it's not urgent. It doesn't have to happen right this moment, right? List those things out. And this is ultimately going to help you organize your calendar. Figure out also what are things that are not contributing to your mental well-being and your productivity, right? Welcome, A Star. Oh, I love that username. All right. So yeah, I don't know if you're going by that username came from the recent song like Star, or what is it called? I don't know, by Megan Thee Stallion. Anyway, but anyway, welcome. It's just a joke. It's my attempt at a joke. So I'm not very good at them. So but so you want to know what to delete from your calendar as well. Now, this is tricky because you have to determine. Sometimes, I'm not against like video games. I don't personally play a lot of video games. My little thing is just, watching silly videos on YouTube, silly videos on TikTok, like in moderation, right? But not all of these useless kind of activities, right, that we categorize as useless are really useless. You have to find out, right? You have to ask yourself, okay, for video games, let's say that's something that I really want to do. It's not quote unquote productive, but does it contribute to my relaxation in some way? Does it contribute to my focus? Does it somehow recharge me? What activities recharge me? Don't go and delete things that you don't go and delete things that you think that other people say, oh, you should delete and get out of your schedule. You have to determine, and then also determine, go and time block it. Don't just do it for an indiscriminate amount of time. You want to be in control of your social media use. Welcome, Aman. So you said, good morning. Thank you. I love you too. I don't even know you, but I love you. I appreciate you. And I love your question. I love your participation. By the way, again, guys, feel free to drop any comments in the chat about what your productivity struggles are, and we'll work through them together live on here. Otherwise, I will keep going through what I'm talking about, and it'll be all good. But is TikTok available in the US? Yes, it is actually still available in the US. I don't even know what's happening with the ban. I don't know if anybody knows. Who knows if it's actually going to totally be banned? I think there's a lawsuit right now that it's TikTok is suing the government, is my understanding. So it's not quite resolved. So as happens, so strategy 2, sleep, exercise, and diet. We hear this all the time, but like, what type of diets, what type of exercise, how should you optimize your sleep? Well, the answer for, and I know you might look at this and say, oh, it's not like a productivity hack. It is a productivity hack. I promise you. We don't think of these things as important as they are. You try any of these and optimize any of these areas, you will see. You'll see the difference most likely within a week in terms of your productivity, your focus. A lot of times the reason we're not productive, and I'll go through specific exercise and diet and things like that, some strategies, but some of the reason we're not productive many times is what? Focus, lack of focus. Can you all agree? Like, who agrees with me that that's part of your experience? Like, sometimes we're not productive because I'm zoning out. Oh, I just can't, I really don't want to do that task, or I really don't have the energy to, or whatever. A lot of that can be optimized by looking at our sleep, exercise, and diet. I talk about how I was in direct sales previously. A lot of that was, it's actually in the health industry. Energy management, absolutely, energy management is key. Aman, which book will work best for smart work versus hard work, and what'll lead you to success? I actually have a video coming up on that topic not too long from now. Feel free. I have a whole list of books and stuff. Feel free to either join my Discord chat and ask about that same question, because I have to go. I want to give you a good answer to that. I don't want to just, because there are tons of books on what you're talking about. There are tons of books. So I want to give you a really targeted one for what you're looking for. Feel free to join my Discord chat, or you can email me directly, Aman, and my information is all on my YouTube channel. Nikhil, you said many times we take the things which burn our energy, like sugar. Yes, sugar and tea and coffee. See, I drink my coffee black. I drink coffee. I love caffeine, but it's not, you shouldn't add, well, in moderation, you can add sugar and things like that. Blitzer, hello to you. Welcome. Feel free, guys, again, to drop some of the problems that you're dealing with in the chat in terms of productivity, and we will address them together if you would like. Lots of love to you too, Aman. So sleep, exercise, and diet. Let's talk about this. Take a look at this, the glycemic index. So awesome, Blitzer. I will get to you in a moment. Hold that thought. So the glycemic index, the and you can actually type your question in the chat as I'm talking. But the glycemic index, what is this? These are foods which have different effects on your blood sugar. I won't get too technical here, but basically, the more a food spikes your blood sugar when you eat it, the more it has a tendency to essentially rob you of your energy, your focus. Now, that is not true in general. Carrots it's not always the case. Carrots are high on the glycemic index, which means they spike your blood sugar when you eat them. Technically, bananas as well, but are they good for you? Absolutely. You should eat them. The thing is that you want to balance your food portions, right? This is going into diet a little bit, but it's necessary. Proteins, fats, and complex carbohydrates, that'll give you that blood sugar stabilization effect. That's going to help you in terms of your mood, in terms of your focus. It's really important to focus on our blood sugar regulation. Yeah, carbs can. And actually, A star, it's a very interesting point you raise, because many times, and there's conflicting evidence out there about, like, really truly conflicting evidence about, for instance, the ketogenic diet and the effects that it has on different parts of the body, for instance. So at this point, I think the most common sense advice would be you have to experiment with your diet a little bit. We're all biologically different. Genetically, we all, come from different places in the world. We all have different ethnographic, backgrounds and things like that. So different foods may affect us differently, or different combinations of foods. You kind of have to be a detective to see, you can actually keep a food journal. There are some great templates. Google food journal. You can find out what is really optimal for you as you track it. Track your food for a week and see how you feel as a result of your meals. You will actually be able to get to the bottom of it. In terms of exercise, before we get to that, so I want to get to, yes, Blitzer, feel free to post your overthinker question. I love overthinker questions, because guess what? I traditionally I'm an overthinker as well, so I can relate. Aman, you said being happy while doing work gives you more productivity. Yeah, absolutely. Right? Feel good productivity, right? Ali Abdal talks about that. But it's not just Ali Abdal. Ali Abdal is taking evidence from multiple fields of psychology to back that up. So it's absolutely true. But how do we feel good, right? It's not enough to say feel good. Well, how do you feel good? There are a lot of these things we're talking about can help you. Ishan, you said, I would like to build a profession out of my passion. How can I prioritize it among my schoolwork? So can you give an example? This isn't really about that, but so can you give me some example of, oh yes. So no, this is a productivity question. My bad. So Blitzer, feel free to go. I'll get to everybody's questions as we go. So Ishan, you said, I'd like to build a profession on my, how can I prioritize it? So it depends. It really depends. That's a general question. If your schoolwork and your passion, if they're related, like, are they on the same topic? That's the question that I would ask. So for instance, if your schoolwork is science focused, let's say you're a science major. I don't know how old you are, or what are you in college or high school, whatever. But if your science let's say your science is your major, some science major, is your passion also in the sciences? If so, there may be a lot of overlap in terms of daily tasks that you can do to make them align. So it really depends. Okay, you'd like to be a musician and you're 17. What's your schoolwork? I mean, are you a music major, or are you and then Blitzer, feel free to type your question as well. I'll go through the exercise portion of this as while you guys are answering, but let me know what your major is too. Maybe I can help you a little bit with that. Or what are you focusing on in school? Like, are you going to college? I'm curious about that, because that will help me clarify for us. Okay, you're a science major. Okay, so if you're a science major, let me put this aside for a moment. If you're a science major, let's say you have the science studies, And I guess maybe you're taking things like organic chemistry, biology, uh, a whole course load of stuff. Do you have after school time? Um, do you have usually that's the case. Are you also working a part-time job or a full-time maybe job on the weekends and things like that? What does your schedule actually look like? I think you can probably, depending on your answer, you can probably find some pockets of time to really hone your skills as a musician. To hone a skill, it really doesn't take, start honing a skill in 2 hours a week, quite honestly. If let's say, do it on the weekend, it'll be gradual, but you can hone your skills as a musician in 2 hours a week on the weekends. You can even add, let's say, a third hour or 30 minutes if you want to do some career strategy time. Again, time block it out in your calendar. On Saturdays at 10 a.m., from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm going to I'm going to basically practice my music, and then from 12 to 12:30, I'll eat lunch. 12:30 to 1, I will do some outreach to other musicians for career strategies. You can actually define these tasks. I don't know how helpful that was. I would actually have to know more specific information. But again, Ishan, if you want to work through this a little bit more, feel free again to either join my Discord chat, or you can reach out to me personally by email, and I'm happy to chat. So let's see. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's get on to, and then Blitzer, I'm waiting for your question. So feel free. Maybe you're typing a lot. Okay, your parents are not happy with you choosing an arts career. Here's what I would do, Ishan. Because it's usually because of maybe the money, or it could be the title, something like that. But I would, again, I would encourage you to, if it's because of the money, there are, again, in the age of the internet and online apps and everything, there are so many ways to monetize music. For example, you could, if you get really good enough, this is just one idea. I mean, of course, you could ideally sign with a label and stuff like that, or do performances. But if you could sell a course eventually of teaching the instrument that you engage in, or the teaching the music you engage in, and sell that online. Eventually, if you make as much as your current income, or your income with your science major or whatever, then you can actually show your parents, right? You don't have to tell your parents. You can show your parents, hey, I'm making money with this. I'm making a career from it, and it's working. So I would actually, that would be maybe the 30 minutes or the hour more that you spend on maybe Saturdays or some other place in the week, in addition to your practicing time. Again, that's an example, right? That's an example. Yeah, that's just an example. Hopefully that was helpful. But anyway, feel free to reach out to me, or in my Discord chat, or by email if you want more clarification or want to work through this a little bit more. So for focus, what type of exercise is good for focus, for productivity? Ultimately, is even just an 8-minute, what's called HIIT workout. Has anybody heard of HIIT? High intensity interval training. It's going to help you focus a lot. You guys can look this up. I don't know, this is probably not big enough for you guys to see, but high intensity interval training is basically, has been shown to be and there's recent research on this, to be the most optimal for focus and memory, specifically for memory. So for recall. So if you're trying to learn something, HIIT, high intensity interval training, is very, very helpful. Basically what high intensity interval training is, and I do this all the way, every day actually. So you basically, you could do it by sprinting for a minute, then resting for a few minutes, sprinting for a minute, then rest for a few minutes, etc. Right? And so you could do high interval intensity training multiple ways, but yes. Now, let me go to this. All right, all right. So Blitzer. Okay, let's talk about Blitzer's question. Blitzer, you have a good question, I think. The navigation problem. Okay, if you think of yourself as a human robot who has to do research, learn, explore, how do you navigate? How do you decide? So I'm not totally sure. Maybe you can clarify just even a little bit further, but it seems like I'm trying to understand your question a little bit. So okay, I have those random pockets or episodes where we go exploring different topics and projects, but how do you plan for that? I wanted to do time management such as I would get results that allowed me. Ah, okay, that's good. So you're talking about like spontaneous time. Maybe it sounds like you want to have some time in your schedule to just randomly explore, and it feels, and I think I understand what you're talking about. Correct me if I'm wrong. Sometimes um okay, so wait, there's more. Okay, so I'll let you continue, and then I'll fully answer your question. So I'll continue while you're typing, and I'll continue on some of these strategies. So strategy 3: use airplane mode and do not accept unscheduled calls. This one's kind of big. I actually do not. I have a policy now that I do not accept any unscheduled calls. So typically now somebody has to text me in order to call me. So I don't um I actually don't understand the idea of like just giving somebody a call now, especially just in this day and age. I know back when I was in the age where I was born in 1989. So back in the 90s and the early 2000s and stuff, you could just call somebody and then expect them to pick up, right? Because how else are you going to reach them? Now I don't think that's necessary. So I don't accept typically unscheduled calls. I will put my phone, if I'm working on a discrete task, I'll put it on airplane mode. And also, and I'll get to your question in a moment, Blitzer. And also, um, there's it disrupts your whole flow, especially let's say I'm working on a script, and I don't know if you guys can relate. If you're working on something intense, maybe you're working on a practice set, learning something, and it takes your full concentration, somebody calls, and then it totally disrupts you. So what I try to do is, just if somebody needs me, text me. Okay, when can you talk? Oh, I can talk at 12:30. Great, 12:30. I schedule that in, right? So that is really, really helpful. And it will give you much more time than you think. There's a lot of time that's wasted from interruptions like this. So Blitzer, let me answer your next so your question in entirety. So Blitzer, you're saying to do multiple projects and learn multiple things, but I quickly came across a wicked roadblock. Whenever I'd have a free moment, I'd struggle so hard in deciding what to do that I end up doing nothing. Should I learn about nutrition so I can be healthier? If I do that, I won't get to learn about topic Y or watch these YouTube videos or work on project. Constantly trapped in a cycle of if I can't do everything I want, do anything, and it's very difficult for me to escape the cycle. This may have been okay. No, I get you. So what you are kind of suffering from is this idea of opportunity cost. What's called opportunity cost. You're always thinking when you're doing something, yes, there is an inherent opportunity cost. If I do something in one space of time, yes, by definition, you can't then do something in that same space of time. So here's what I would do, Blitzer, and I don't know if you've tried this, is there might be some multiple things going on. You might actually have some actual anxiety, in which case a lot of the stuff that we've talked about in terms of exercise, diet, those better sleep, those might help. So the cause actually might be anxiety. So that those strategies would help. If it's not just anxiety related, and it is a little bit like sometimes, we have genetic components of our personality, and our personalities might tend to be this way. If this is the case, I would actually just list out, I don't know if you've ever tried this, but list out everything you want to do, right? Let's say you want to learn about nutrition. You want to learn XYZ topic. You want to learn about this, that, and the other thing. List them all out. Make try to make an exhaustive list of all the things you want to actually do. Then you want to, and now it's impossible to do them all, right? More operationalizing. Okay. You can feel free to elaborate on that. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, but feel free to elaborate. List all those things out, and I would try to understand why. Right? Ask yourself why. Why do I want to learn about this or that? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't actually want to learn about, like, either you don't actually want to learn about that thing, you just have this fear of missing out, which is not a valid reason to want to learn about something, right? Or you might feel like you do want to learn it, but it's not necessarily priority. What you may want to really just dig deep on is what do you feel are your current goals? What do you feel is your current focus? What are some of the most important things to you? And you have to prioritize those things. Now, if you want to do a bunch of things, that's where the time blocking comes in. You don't have to do everything right now, right? Maybe you want to learn about nutrition. Schedule 30 minutes in your calendar on Friday. Maybe you want to read history. Great. So go read history from 1 to 2 p.m. on Saturdays or on Saturday. Maybe you want to do so. I think organizing it might help you like that. And also making that list. And this is part of, this is actually similar in concept to an extent to what's called CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which I'm not like a psychiatrist or anything, but CBT is a well-known method, making lists, finding solutions, that kind of thing. But in this case, making a list, asking yourself why, what is your motivation for wanting to learn that or do that activity? And maybe you'll find out that many of these things are not truly a real motivation of yours that is genuine. It's just because somebody else, said it's good, or you have a fear of missing out. Try to recognize the legitimate reasons you have for wanting to do something versus the non-legitimate reasons that we just talked about. List them out, find out why, then move on to schedule them in your calendar. But again, you may be suffering from some anxiety, and that might not fully work for you in that case. So you have to kind of explore this from different angles. Hopefully, Blitzer, that was helpful. But again, feel free to reach out to me personally or in my Discord chat. Feel free because in that, it's a great community that's growing there. People may have different insights and experiences similar to yours that maybe I don't have, that might actually be very helpful for you. But also feel free to reach out to me further. How did you learn about the things you learned? Did you schedule them in, or did you spontaneously over time explore? Both. So I didn't use to time block. So here's I think a very good learning process. All right, let me just talk about this for a moment. Here's a very healthy learning process. If you want to learn something, have a goal. In my case, way back when in 2013, before 2013, it was, I need to get this book published. No, it's good. This is good. This is all about productivity. It's related to productivity as well. I want to get this book published. I published peer-reviewed academic text. It's in university libraries now all over the world. I didn't think that's what was going to happen. Eventually, that's what happened. But before then, I was like, I have this goal. I have this idea. I want to learn this very specific thing. And in this case, it was value theory. And whatever, it's okay. It's in the behavioral sciences and philosophy. And I said, I really want to learn that thing. What other fields or what other knowledge do I need in order to fully learn that thing? Oh, I need some psychology. I need some neuroscience. I need some logic. I need some material from philosophy. So because I had the goal, I had a very specific learning goal, then I was able to find and target the knowledge that I needed to feed into that goal, right, Blitzer? And then another thing is, don't feel like an expert on everything. Sorry. I'm not an expert on everything. I know it sounds like, I know a lot of stuff. I know a lot of stuff, but I would also consider myself what's called a T-shaped person. And a T-shaped person is what? You have broad knowledge of a lot of fields and deep knowledge of one. I would say, Blitzer, that's a good goal for most people. Try to have deep knowledge of one field and don't worry so much. You don't have to know everything. That's why we're always learning. I don't know everything about everything and very far from it, right? So I know a good deal about, some very targeted things, but we don't have to know. I think also part of it is letting go of the idea that I have to know everything, and in productivity terms, that I have to do everything. That is not necessary. It's also not possible, right? It's not possible. And so all it's going to do is lead to anxiety, stress, and maybe depression and things like that. So don't stress yourself out too much. So hopefully I answered some of your questions here and it was helpful. But let me go to strategy 4. Also set a specific time for checking emails and texts. I do this every morning. I just check emails once a day. Even if I see another email pop up, I say, oh, you know what? It's gonna have to wait till tomorrow, right? So, and then also here's what I would say. Plan each next day today. That is a key thing, and I've heard this from a lot of people, entrepreneurs and as well, and people who have done amazing things and how they schedule their time. And this is how I schedule my time as well. At the end of each day, I will plan each day, but I already pretty much have a standing schedule for each week. However, I will plan out, maybe there are tasks from today that I didn't get done. I'll put them in a block for tomorrow. Create buffer time. So the idea here is, this text is too small. The idea here is to simply schedule out more time than you think you need for a task. So let's say you think you need, a half hour for a task. Sometimes we underestimate the amount of time we actually need for something. Put in an hour. If you get it done in a half hour, great, perfect. Then you have an extra half hour. Then go down your task list further and fill in that extra half hour. Before you know it, by the end of the day, you'll actually get done the rest. You'll get done the day before you know it, right? Faster than you think. So yeah, Blitzer, sometimes making the decision is more agonizing than the decision itself, even if the decision is just, what do I do? Absolutely. So sometimes, take a deep breath. And sometimes it's also being in our own head. Being in our own head a lot can make a point. I have a feeling that there are a lot of introverts on this who subscribe to my channel, right? Because I'm an introvert, so maybe like attracts like. But as an introvert, in case you are an introvert, as a fellow introvert, it is also very worth connecting physically in person with other people on a regular basis and having conversations. It does tend to quiet a lot of that overthinking, because you're getting outside of yourself and you're listening to other people's ideas and perspectives. It can be very, very calming. So and it can be very, very rewarding. Good, Nikhil, keep doing it. Planning each day, right? And then also, if you find a gap in your time, so I actually regularly do this. Find a gap in your time, look at which tasks that are on tomorrow's schedule and see which ones you can do ahead of time. So I'll do this typically because I create so much buffer time in my calendar, and I overestimate how much time I'm going to take on a task. Then I typically have the extra time. I look at my tasks for tomorrow. I see which ones can I just get done today and ahead of time, and so I don't have to do them tomorrow. I have extra time. The idea is always to have leftover time, right? Because you want that freedom as well. So it's not always possible, but it's helpful. Now, Tamar 67, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. So glycemic load values are better at illustrating the effect of carb sugar because they take into, yes, I love this comment. I love this comment. So this is, for those of you who don't understand, glycemic index versus glycemic load. You are absolutely on target here. So yes, I just didn't want to be too technical. I wanted to introduce you guys to glycemic index if you weren't familiar. Glycemic load has to do with what is the overall impact on our blood sugar from different foods and food combinations, uh, given also the portion size. So yeah, it's a little bit more in depth, but yes, it is better at illustrating the effect of carbs and sugar also on our mood, our blood sugar, a lot of our hormones. So Tamar 67, yes, very, very insightful comment there for sure. So appreciate that. Now, guys, if you want to personally work with me, you are welcome to check out my Life Navigator program. And this is something that I am totally passionate about. I love helping people personally. I'm going to put put the link to this in the chat in case you want to check it out. Also, just a brief outline of how this works. We have 3 phases to this program. It's a growing program and community. And phase 1 of this is a customized personal development plan. So we actually customize, come together, meet, and figure out, okay, what are your actual needs? How do we put this step by step into a plan for you to based on your goals, right? And number 2 is the skill mastery phase. Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you. Skill mastery phase. So based on whatever your life goals are, whatever direction you're taking, career or whatever that is, productivity, we develop a customized curriculum and study plan for you to help you develop this, whatever skills you need to develop, whether that's coding, learning a new language, whatever that is. And then step 3 is project completion. We help you connect with strategic connections, people, organizations, different resources. And you can also, if you're watching this on the replay, you can click the link in the description to learn more. And if you want to, if you don't know whether this is for you, you can feel free to book a free 30-minute call with me. I'm putting that link in the chat as well. And on this call, we'll set up a preliminary personal development plan. If you love the plan that I've developed for you and that we've developed together, then it might make sense for you to join the Life Navigator system. If not, no worries. This is no pressure at all. You'll still have a solid plan to run on. And no worries anyway, because I have so many free resources. We'll have the Discord chat. You can reach out to me by email personally. Like, no worries. If you can't join that, pretty much everything I do is like free for you guys, value for you guys. But if you want more one-on-one touch and personalized touch, then that program might be for you. So check it out. Guys, I really appreciate you and appreciate you every week coming on here, sharing together, growing together. That's what it's all about. That's what life is about. One favor I have to ask you: go out from today and make the world a little bit of a better place today. Go teach somebody what you learned. Go, become better yourself and influence other people. Go, just be kind to somebody today. You don't know the influence and the impact that can have on that person and yourself. So I appreciate you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and we will talk again soon.